Welcome to True White Allies, where we celebrate the forgotten history of white anti-racists so their stories can inspire you to take action today. This episode tells the story of Benjamin Lay, a man who campaigned against slavery from as early as the 1700s, using dramatic stunts to make his case.
If you live in the US, you may have heard of Benjamin Franklin, but not about Benjamin Lay, his friend and one of the greatest abolitionists to live. Benjamin Lay was 4 feet 7 inches tall, a Quaker, and had a hunched back. His size did not match his vast contributions to the fight against slavery. He was born in Copford, England in 1682 to a family of farmers. He moved to London to become a sailor, and he married Sarah Smith, a Quaker. Together they moved to Bridgetown, Barbados, where they had a shop. During Benjamin Lay's time in Barbados, he saw a lot of violence towards enslaved people. They were tortured and even killed. He and his wife started to hate slavery. They started inviting enslaved people to their home on Sundays, and it became a meeting place for them to eat, and here the Lays denounced slavery. Their views made them unpopular with the other residents enjoying the benefits of slavery. The slave owners found out about the meetings and pressured the Lays to leave. The Lays went back to England and later moved to Philadelphia in the US, a British colony.
Yes, the US was a colony of Britain, but let's not talk about that today, darling. That's not very polite.
When Benjamin Lay arrived in Philadelphia, he found that many slave owners were Quakers. He started a campaign against slavery, and at that time, he was one of the first Quakers to hold these views. His campaign style was unique because he used dramatic stunts to show people how evil slavery was. Once, he went to a Quaker meeting dressed in military clothes. Then he took a sword and stabbed a Bible he held. Blood gushed from the Bible and splattered on some people close to him. Then he said, "Thus shall God shed the blood of those who have enslaved their fellow creatures."
It wasn't real blood though. He put berry juice in a sack, but he made his point.
Another time, he stood outside a Quaker meeting in the winter with no coat and 1 foot bare in the snow. When people walked by and asked him why he was risking his health, he called them hypocrites. Why did they feel sorry for him when they ignored the needs of enslaved people who had to work all winter in clothes that didn't keep them warm?
That's a good point. Bravo.
Benjamin Lay had neighbours that enslaved people, even though he tried to change their minds. Once, he had their child in his home, a little boy who he kept entertained all day. When the evening came, he saw that the parents were getting frantic and looking for the boy. He asked them what they were doing, and they said they were looking for their child. Then he said, "Your child is safe in my home, and you may now conceive of the sorrow you inflict on the parents of the girl you hold in slavery, for she was torn from them by avarice." Benjamin Lay wrote about social issues. Benjamin Franklin published one of his books, All Slave Keepers That Keep the Innocent in Bondage Apostates. He called slavery one of the greatest sins and slave owners murderers in his book.
Benjamin Lay didn't get permission from the Quakers to publish the book. He probably did this deliberately since many of them were slave owners themselves. The book made them very angry.
This led to many of them publicly distancing themselves from him and his views, an experience that must have felt very isolating. In 1758, the view of the Quakers took a turn. They voted to exclude slave owners from their meetings, and owning slaves was now seen as an act of misconduct. When Benjamin Lay heard the news, he said, "I can now die in peace." He died the following year. In 2017, the Quaker groups that disowned him hundreds of years ago recognized their wrong. At a time when racism seems as present and ugly as ever, both globally and nationally, and the structures of white supremacy are being defended and strengthened by powerful forces in our societies, this seems a timely moment for the North London area meeting to reflect on its involvement in the struggle for racial justice.
Benjamin Lay campaigned against injustice when many were okay to look the other way. It's been over 200 years since Benjamin Lay died, and Black and brown people still face racism today.
What can white people who want to be allies learn from Benjamin Lay? Don't be afraid to be the first one to challenge racism wherever you see it. Just because everyone around you thinks something is okay doesn't mean it's right. Today, when white people speak about racism, they don't have to face even half of what Benjamin Lay had to endure. Benjamin Lay recognized that simply not owning slaves wasn't enough. He could have said, "Well, I don't own slaves, that's not my problem," and looked the other way. But he didn't. He had to get other white people to stop it. You can inspire other white people to speak up through your actions. Not being racist is not enough. We need white people to be anti-racist like Benjamin Lay and challenge racism when they see it. Hi, I'm Naomi, and if you enjoyed watching this video, please like it and share with 2 white people you think would benefit from watching it.